Oh, is that? Yep, it's got ARP hardware.
Those look like manly rods to me.
What is going on, guys? We are back with another video, and we are picking up a car today. There is some GTO owners out here. They're going to be really excited for this. We are picking up a 2006 GTO 60 T56 car. This is for a Freedom Parts Outlet. This car, more than likely, unless it is nice enough to resell, it's most likely getting parted out. These GTOs, you know, they have highly desirable parts. So we're going to look at it, hopefully tow it home, and yeah, so let's check it out. It is a 2006 GTO 60, in theory stock, but yeah, we'll see how this goes. We also picked up a Camaro 6.2. I know this is Mustang lifestyle, but I want to bring you guys along for some of the journey of this new business. You know, trying not to get ourselves stuck on just one brand of car. It opens us up to so much more things. So let's see when this GTO rolls up. All right, so I didn't film anything when we picked up the GTO, but I got a little bit of a confession to make. So I drove the GTO. This is also a Camaro that we just bought. So not only do I have one LS car, I have two. This car, it's a 6.2. It's gonna get parted out, but it runs and drives as a minor, pretty much minor front-end collision Camaro SS 2010. I'm gonna go ahead and get this moved, and yeah, not only one but two LS cars. So Camaro seems like it runs pretty good. The previous owner put turbo whistles on the exhaust. Don't ask me why, so stupid. But yeah, Camaro SS. As soon as we kind of get things situated, the engine will be coming out of this thing here pretty soon. Runs really good. So 6.2, we'll be selling this Freedom Parts Outlet. Fortunately, it's got a certificate title of destruction, but if anyone wants a 5th gen drag roller, this would be perfect. There's no real major damage to the body, and yeah, as you can see, it's pretty much cosmetic. It's a front end, a little bit on the radiator support, but really, really basic crash. Alright, and then of course the GTO 2006 GTO 60 T56 car. I am, you know, driving. I've never driven a GTO, so it's nice to drive it around. We don't know if we're just going to part this car out or flip it. It is a rare color. GTOs are getting harder to come by. It does run and drive pretty good, but obviously, cosmetically and interior-wise, it needs a lot of work. So here are two LS cars. Pretty funny. I like it. Alright, so you guys are getting a very, very sneak peek of the new shop. Just a few more weeks and we'll be in here. I'm not going to show too much more, but it's big. So, pretty exciting stuff. Before we jump too far in the video, I just want to remind you guys, we are doing 20 times entries, free shipping on the merchandise. If you guys have been waiting because, you know, we do charge for shipping because we pay for shipping. But right now we are doing free shipping. Enter code FREESHIP. If you guys were waiting for a good opportunity to get entered, right now is the time. 20 times entries ends tonight at midnight. So don't wait, definitely get entered. We are bringing the Bullet to Mustang Week. I hope you guys are excited for that, and it should be a really fun time bringing the Bullet and either the GT500 or the Cobra, but let's hop into it. We have an interesting engine here. So I got this 4.6 liter 4-valve, and this came out of the silver ProCharge Mustang. So I was told that there might have been something done to it, but I don't know. It seems really sketchy. It looks really ugly, but let's go ahead and tear it down and see what it looks like. I mean, it could be a bone stock 9901 Cobra motor, or could be a fully built motor. We don't really know. So I'm here with my buddy Tyler with H&K Performance. We are gonna tear this down. Tyler builds a lot of different engines. This is his teardown area. He also has a nice clean room over there. But yeah, when you tear things down, it gets a little messy, but we're gonna see what exactly is inside this. I did get told it has aftermarket cams, but everything else is kind of a mystery. I'm kind of hoping to see, you know, maybe some rods and pistons, maybe some ARP hardware. But like I said, it could be a bone stock engine. So we're gonna tear it down, pull the heads off of it, you know, and kind of figure out what's going on with this thing. Yeah, what do you think?
I mean, it kind of looks like the heads are got some port going on in there. So,
yeah.
You know, but
yeah, that was
see
like
some
CNC.
rust down there, so.
Yeah, it's really weird because, like, it's ugly, right? This is an ugly looking engine. That's the reason why we're tearing it down. That's the reason why I didn't just go ahead and try to turn the key, because if there is something wrong with this, it could cause more failure and basically ruin something that could be a good running motor with a little bit of time put into it. So let's go ahead and start the process. All right, first valve cover. Oh, we got a gasket. Oh yeah, they're definitely cams. Nice.
Oh, we got some ARP hardware down there.
Okay, so ARP head studs as well. Valve springs. Yeah, it's got valve springs too.
Yeah.
Nice. Very
Good
nice.
sign. Good sign.
Oh, are these adjustable cam gears too? Yeah, it looks like it, right?
Yes, sir.
Very nice. This is looking pretty promising so far.
Looking good.
All right. Same thing on this side. Looks pretty clean. The cams look pretty much new.
Someone had a heyday with their ARP lube down here. God dang.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they lubed them up.
Guess it's better to have a lot than none, so.
Very nice. So, adjustable cam gears so far. Cams, valve springs, retainers, and ARP head studs. Looking pretty promising so far.
See what the bottom end's got done.
Yeah. You want to pop off the pan?
Yeah, we can.
All right, let's go ahead and pop off the pan. This is going to kind of be the moment of truth. Now, one of the good signs is that it does have a 8-bolt crank, which would mean that it's a 8-bolt Cobra crank, but we don't know if it's a 99-01 engine or like an 0304 Cobra, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see.
See what we got. Oh yeah.
Oh, is that? Yep, it's got ARP hardware.
Those look like manly rods to me.
Yeah, it's got some thick boys. Do you have a light around here? Yeah, that looks pretty good, honestly. There's no metal in the pickup.
Bottom of the pan looks pretty clean.
Not bad. Now, I don't know if this engine has ever even ran. There was just kind of, there wasn't really much info on it. Like I said, he said that there was cams, but I was like, you know, you just don't really know until you tear something like this apart. But
yeah.
So far, I guess this is probably, this is an iron block, right?
Yep.
So an iron block, that would mean that this is probably an 0304 Cobra short block. Just not sure if it's a OEM Manly Rods and Pistons engine or if it's an aftermarket one.
Right.
But we will definitely find out here shortly. Alright, let's see what it looks like behind the timing cover. Looks pretty fresh. That looks a little weird, a little used.
Yep. Yeah, it definitely doesn't look like anybody's been in here recently. But
chain has a little bit of slack, but typically when it doesn't have oil, these don't actually build the pressure.
Right.
So I wouldn't really be too concerned with that. It looks like aftermarket secondaries right here.
So far, so good.
But overall, it looks really clean. There's no oil. I mean,
yeah. It's definitely a Ford pump.
it's pretty fresh. Gears look shiny.
Yeah, they do. Boundary Lubrication Systems.
So that indeed is billet oil pump gear. Nice.
Yes, it is.
So someone put some money into this thing.
For sure. For sure.
It's just weird. So really the mystery is going to be what is wrong with it? Why didn't they start it? Because I was told there was something wrong with this. I was told there was moisture got in the cylinder walls, but
It did seem like there was a little moisture through that valve, but we'll be able to tell more when we get the head off.
yeah, for sure. What's that torque spec feel like?
Feels like I need a bigger ratchet.
I'm gonna break that thing.
Nah, she does her job.
Moment of truth. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Got some rust in that cylinder.
that one is definitely rusty. What's the valve look like on the backside? Why are those
Because the cams are still tightened down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I didn't put it at top dead.
So why does this one look like shit?
It honestly just looks like water got in there. What does the head gasket look like? I wonder if maybe they were dealing with a head gasket issue.
No, head gasket looks mint. I think it's probably weren't taking care of it, you know, had the intake off or something like that, and just water got down in there. Yeah, that doesn't, this is the reason why I didn't want to turn it over, because I didn't want the piston to come up and just start scraping.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that?
It's definitely got some pitting in there, for sure.
That's not ideal. And it's only that one.
Yeah.
It's almost like someone was mad and just poured like some water in this dude's engine. Because look at everything else. Like, that's just some stuff that fell from.
Yeah. But I mean, I can definitely tell you these are not aftermarket rods or pistons.
So probably
Unless somebody put them in without rehoning the block. Because there's definitely slim to no cross hatching left in the cylinder walls.
So it's probably stock 0304 Cobra
Yep.
short block
That's what I'm thinking.
with these aftermarket heads. Yeah, because the head gasket looks good. It looks like it was ran, right?
Yeah.
That's not a Ford gasket, I don't believe.
No, definitely not. It's kind of hard to tell. I mean, there's rust up in here, so maybe it was full of coolant and he turned it over, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell.
This is definitely strange. But that's obviously the reason why I wanted to tear it down. Because you start turning that over and it's just going to scrape that wall
Do a
and
lot more
piston. And
damage.
so, well,
Let's get the other side off, see what that looks like.
yeah.
Let's pull this off, see what we got.
Let's see what this one looks like. Oh, same thing, dude.
Let's see what the back of the head looks like. Oh.
So that's disappointing.
Yep.
So
Notice this one doesn't have spark plugs in it either. So almost as if somebody knew what was going on here.
you think someone like straight up like poured water in this dude's engine? Like, They're just like, psh. It's weird, right?
Yeah, it's odd that it's only a couple cylinders, but I mean, if these valves were the ones that were sitting open and it was left outside in the rain, then that would be directly where the water went in. Maybe that's the case. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell.
So that kind of stinks because the top of the pistons and the cylinder walls kind of look like shit. But the underneath, the rods, the Cobra crank, everything, that stuff looks pretty good. I mean, we haven't popped off to see what bearings look like, but we're gonna have to kind of make a game plan on what we want to do, because look at this. This looks pretty minty right here.
Yeah.
It sucks. This is like literally just, you know, poor install, really.
Poor install, yeah. Poorly taken care of. I mean, just someone that didn't really know what they were doing, I guess. I mean,
it sucks. They spent a lot of money. I mean, we got adjustable cam gears, cams, ported heads, oil pump gear, all pretty much brand new stuff.
Yeah.
All the way through. So this would have been a 1,000 horsepower engine if they could have basically just kept water out of these back two cylinders. And I guess, is that one? Yeah, that one a
this
little
one's
bit.
got some water in it, but luckily this piston was sitting up, so I mean, I can't tell. I mean, I'm sure there's some water down in the edge of that cylinder. Probably looks just like this one, but this one's really, really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, that one's definitely got some really, really deep pitting in it.
I think that one's worse than the other side.
Yeah, definitely is. So, I don't know. We might have to drop a sleeve in that one. I don't know. We'll know more when we put it on the bore bar and bore it out.
Yeah.
See what it takes to clean it up. I mean, it just all depends on what it wants. I mean, it's up to the motor. It's the motor decision. So, whatever it's going to take is what it's going to take, and that's all we can really do. So, but let's flip it over, see what the bearings look like.
Yeah, you want to drop the rods and pistons out of this thing?
Yeah, might be a little bit easier said than done, but we'll get it figured out.
So we just tried to turn it over so that we can get the rods and pistons out, and it's locked. She's not going nowhere. So we're going to try to put some WD-40 in the cylinders to try to see if we can break that up. We're going to tear this down, this block. If we do reuse it, obviously needs some work. Or we could potentially pick up another block.
Yeah.
Because we do have a crank, rods, pick up some new pistons. Then we have a lot of parts to make a 1,000+ horsepower.
Yeah, for sure.
With upgraded pistons and some side bolts. This would be ready for big power, well over 1,000.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that we I got just sprayed WD-40 and I can't turn it over. It's got stock main bolts in it. Put a set of ARP main studs in it, and
because the crank's good for 1,600 plus, 2,000 horsepower.
Yeah, they hold power. The rods hold big power.
So put a good set of pistons in it.
Maybe
with
a little bit more compression.
Yeah.
Put a blower on it or put a turbo on it, and
it'd be good for probably 1,300 to 1,600 wheel.
Yeah. Yep.
So just got to figure out the plan, but I think that that might be the game plan.
Yep.
We're gonna see if we can get these rods and pistons out and see what the bearings look like.
Yep.
You know, not get too ahead of ourselves in case, you know, maybe a bearing, you know, failed too.
Wipe the crank out.
You never know.
Hopefully not.
You know, if that were the case, then essentially this bottom end is not really too much of a score.
Yeah. I mean, we could resize the rods and save the rods, and we could turn the crank, but that costs money, so, you know.
All right, so about to see what our first rod bearing looks like.
It's kind of weird working at a weird angle, but since the motor doesn't want to turn over.
Yeah, typically you would turn the motor up, you know, see how these ones are nice and easy to access. We're not going to be able to do that.
Nope.
Ooh,
yeah, they look good.
That looks fresh, dude.
It does.
Dude, that sucks for whoever was putting this thing together. Like, one small mistake just costed this whole engine to get torn down.
Yep.
That's crazy. That bearing looks
I can tell you that I noticed, though, these aren't numbered, so I definitely don't ever think this motor has been taken apart. I mean,
Yeah. But the crank looks awesome, and that bearing looks just absolutely. Let me try to get a close up on that. That looks so good. Nice.
Let's knock this piston out and see how she looks.
Well, came out nice. Let's see, does this say SVT on the side of the rod?
Yep.
There it is. Manly rod, SVT. Nice. Yeah, these rods, these support some good power. They're thick too. Like, that's thick for a stock rod.
It is, yep. It definitely holds some power.
Yeah,
it's
I think
crazy from the factory they dot these rods to tell which way is frontward facing. So whoever supposedly hand built this motor, I mean, just precautions that we take that, you know, they take straight from the factory, so.
Yeah, really the only weak point is the pistons and probably the side bolts from the factory. That and the head flow would really just hold this engine back from making big power. Once you do heads, cams, and some basic things, you can make stupid amounts of power. And then obviously these were 8.5 to 1 compression, so super low compression.
Yeah.
I like a little bit more compression in my engines. We're talking to a Honda guy over here.
I got a lot of compression. What you mean? All these rings are like seized up and locked in the piston. Should be motion moving. They're all on this side. They're all stuck, locked in there. Definitely signs of water.
Not great. Rod looks great. Bearing looks great. Some new forged pistons seems like that's gonna be the move.
Yep.
So this is the one with rust, right?
That's cylinder 8. Yep. That's full. So.
Yeah, same thing. Bearing looks great.
Crank looks beautiful.
So far so good. Just we're not able to get that those pistons to break free yet.
Yeah.
It might have to just sit overnight or something.
Soak and give it another try.
Yeah, the crank looks really clean.
Yep. So.
All right, so one rusty piston
coming up soon. Once we got that number 8 piston cap off, the crank decided it wanted to move again.
How's that one look? Ring seal. Oh wow, that's basically welded.
Yep.
That's not great.
But the rod and the bearing still looks beautiful, so.
Yeah, rods and bearings look good.
Keep on going. Yeah, definitely. Number 8's definitely going to be the only one that's going to be challenging to get out. All the other ones should pop right out. Pop the crank out. The crank looks good, so.
Yeah, see the crank is.
Just be careful not to hit this rod right here. But yeah, it looks
moving. All right, so pulling the main caps.
Trying to. There they go. Bearings look decent.
Yeah.
So.
Very nice.
Crank looks good though, so that's the.
Yeah. Yeah, these 8-bolt Cobra cranks are getting hard to find. Forged cranks. And the aftermarket billet ones are so expensive.
I mean, these things hold power, so it looks like I had a little something run through it, but not too bad.
Yeah, we're gonna put new bearings in anyways.
Yeah, for sure. Fortunately, the crank still looks good though.
Yeah.
Pop that out. Yeah, that's probably the worst bearing out of the motor right there.
Yeah,
but I mean, that's nothing even. I mean, you can't even barely feel it with your fingernail.
Yeah.
So.
Not bad.
But the crank looks good.
Yeah.
Overall, let's pop it out of there real quick.
Yeah, regardless, we were gonna do bearings no matter what.
Yep, for sure.
Nice. Crank looks good. Yeah, you were saying the rear main seal was stuck on it.
Yeah, it's locked on there. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I might have to heat it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Get that rubber freed up. Yep, overall, all in all, the crank looks really well. Give it a rinse off and a polish up and should be ready to drop right back in.
Very nice.
Probably have to balance it for the new pistons, but
definitely has to be balanced. But hell yeah.
So
yeah, really. Wow, these walls look great over here.
Yeah.
Super nice. It's really just, even that one side that had the rust, this one doesn't even look bad.
Yeah.
This one, not so much.
Yeah, the problem child for sure. So.
All right, you got her out?
Yeah, we got her freed up. So just give her the last couple little love taps.
So that was the problem one.
Yeah.
Where's the ring?
It's
one
stuck.
piece with the piston.
Yep. So let's flip this thing over and see what the
yeah, we'll see how bad the cylinder wall is. It's good that it came out at least.
For sure. For sure. So
yeah, it doesn't look awesome, but it's not.
That's not the one, bud.
That's not the one?
No,
oh yeah, that's right. It is this one.
So honestly, not super bad. I mean, you can only feel there's definitely some pitting, but I don't know if it's beyond.
Might be
might be able
20
to bore
over.
it. Yeah.
No, that actually doesn't look too bad. And when the piston came out, it scraped a lot of the chunk out. These all look great. So yeah, we might be able to do a 20 over. And we're just gonna have to kind of measure and figure out exactly what we want to do.
Yep.
You know, obviously that'll dictate, you know, the pistons that we go with too.
Yep, for sure. So.
But I'm pretty sure typically you wouldn't want to go much over a 20 on these. So overall, what do you think? Going into this not really knowing, you know, is this a stock motor? Definitely a little disappointing. You know, someone had a, you know, pretty much a $10,000 motor that just a simple mistake pretty much costed, you know, to need to be taken apart. But it's got ARP head studs. We got manly rods. We're gonna end up doing upgraded pistons. But it's got an 8-bolt Cobra crank. It's got really nice timing components, nice heads, nice cams, valve springs, retainers. So there's a lot of good parts here.
So we'll run through. We'll check all the spring pressures on the valve springs and make sure they're still good. You know, check the block, see what we can do with it, and obviously do that before we figure out what pistons we're going to run and what we're going to do there. So that way we're not trying to make block fit pistons instead of trying to make a pistons fit a block. So
yeah, for sure. So we're going to make a game plan, and I think we'll film a bit of this process because it'll be cool to, you know, we're going to figure out exactly what we're doing with the block, and then that will dictate the pistons, and then we'll be you know, doing the machine work, of course, you know, whether it's on this block or not, and then the balancing, the rotating assembly, and you know, it'll be a good time to show off your skill, you know, measuring the bearing clearances and, you know, torque spec, you know, rod stretch, you know, everything, you know, that goes into, you know, building a modular like this properly.
Yep, it's just a lot of steps that people skip. They're very critical steps in engine building. So definitely attention to detail is what makes motors run a long time and keeps them together. So that's what I focus on mostly. Is just pay attention to detail and make sure you don't miss anything and just touch everything. So go through everything and you'll have a good motor in the end of the day. So take your time with it, and that's all you can do at that point. All right, so I think that's going to wrap it up. Overall, I think we did pretty well with this engine. We will hopefully have a nice build series of this engine going back together. I don't necessarily have a car for this to go in. This is probably going to be an engine that we will end up selling as a complete 1,000+ horsepower engine. If we find any other snags, then obviously we would make a, you know, a different plan, but so far everything looks good. So make sure you drop a like down below. I will leave Tyler's info as well if you want to hit him up about really anything, LS, Ford, Nissan, Honda, really anything. Dodges, I've done a couple Mopars as well. So. Yeah, engine assembly, you know, really just anything. You know, he also does some custom builds here as well, but yeah. So we will see you guys in the next one, and yeah, go ahead and comment what you think of the 4.6 4-valve that we got.
running that, keep it on the 100.